I'm up early. Good morning, Eddie. I can do that too, huh? No, I'm gonna screw it up. Good morning, Debbie and Steve. I just realized I hit the button too quick and didn't share it, so I don't know if Eddie's working on that one or not. No. Awesome. Thank you, Debbie. Awesome. Thank you, Debbie. Awesome. Thank you, Debbie. Awesome. Thank you, Debbie. Sorry, I got talking to Jeremy today in the office, and I got sidetracked and didn't get back to setting this up appropriately, so forgive me, or you can just blame it on Jeremy, which, by the way, is his birthday. If you don't know that it's his birthday, I'm not going to sing for you. That would be way too memorable for all of us, and it wouldn't sound very good. So you can call him and sing happy birthday to him, or post a note on his Facebook or somewhere. Wish him a happy birthday. I hope you are all doing well and enjoying the sun. The weather's been beautiful. I guess if we have to be quarantined, it's nice to be quarantined with the sun out. We brought our kids here yesterday and rode around in the parking lot on their bikes, threw the Frisbee, waved to people who drove by. It was just nice to be outside in the sun. So hopefully you're enjoying the beautiful weather where you are quarantining yourself at. I guess I got another 10 minutes yet till I should officially start. We'll be in today's readings in Leviticus 13 and Psalms 15 and 16. If you haven't got there, then you got 10 minutes that you can read and like be ready. See, Steve Robinson's on here. You got any good jokes for us, Steve? Good morning, Miss Stephanie. Dad joke. Like I'm supposed to come up with one, Steve? What's the pirates say when they turn 80? Okay, here, Sam's gonna save us. I don't know what's the pirates say when they turn 80. There you go. That's a good one, Sam. I'm 80. There you go. Anybody else got a good joke? We could always talk about. Anybody got a good memory of Jeremy? Since it's his birthday, we can talk about him. I haven't seen him come up yet. Can't add. No, I can't. When we are running. Yeah, there you go. I don't know if you can get enough of the details in on that one, Eddie. So you might have to share that one with us later. Good morning, Kinseys. I just came from Paul's Bow down at the church. Well, there you go. Steve's finishing his thought. Too many characters to put in one shot. And then we'll find out what a mama buffalo says to her son when he left for school. I remember you telling me that, Steve. Jeremy's idea when he gets tired on hills just is to run harder. Yep. Bye, son. There you go. See, we got all kinds of good jokes we can be telling. Oh, here we go. Another pirate one. What's a pirate's favorite letter? Okay, here's one to be thinking about. What's your favorite thing that you've got to do that you haven't gotten to do because you're at home? While we wait for Karen to tell us the answer. Let's see. There you go. They like the letter C. Yes, they do. They like the water. I got a bunch of other people jumping on. Any fun things that you're doing at home that you haven't had a chance to do that you're just grateful for the chance to be home? Messing with the kids, playing badminton. That's a good one. I love playing badminton. Gardening. Just beautiful weather to be outside, man. It's been gorgeous lately. Virtual dinner party with the neighbors. That's a good one. Well, I think my computer's slow. It says it's only 9:28, but my watch says it's 9:32. So I'm either late or early. I'm not sure which. But let's jump in and we'll start this morning. As we've been at 9:30 these days, starting our day as a body with the Lord's Prayer. So if you would join me as we start. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For yours is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. So this morning, as we continue on, the readings today one is from Leviticus 13, and the other one is from Psalms 15 and 16. And the word that has kind of resonated with me is good. And I didn't look back to see if I copied somebody else's, so hopefully I didn't, or if I did, it's just like a different edition. But good came out of it. As I read through Leviticus 13, I was reminded that the week prior I talked a little bit about all the difference between the sacrifices that were brought, the one that was the grain offering and the other one that had to do with the animals and the insides and the blood, and it was just really messy. And this one is even, it's about the same. Now the priests are diagnosing leprosy, and whether the spots are white or they're not, whether the skin is peeling off them or not, whether the hair has turned white. It's just I'm an ag major, and I did a lot of stuff with animals and intestines and understanding how their body works and what they need to grow and be healthy. And I'm a hunter, and so I've harvested some animals and know what it's like to clean animals, but it's not something that I enjoy. And as the word that came out as being good is that it's good that I'm not a priest then. That was my good part of that I don't have to be the one who is taking the blood and throwing it all over the altar and burning the insides of the animals. And I also don't have to be diagnosing leprosy. So that's really good for me. And so I'm grateful for that. But the other thing that came out as I read in Psalms, as I worked down through 15 and then into 16, the first two verses of 16 just kind of really resonated with me, particularly the second part of verse 2. And so just let me read those couple verses for us this morning. It says, "Preserve me, O God, For in you I take refuge. I say to the Lord, you are my Lord. I have no good apart from you. And that part where he says to the Lord, you are my Lord, and I have no good apart from you. In the midst of my recent weeks, there's been a lot of things that I've been working on. A lot of different pieces of things at home, things at here, and wrestling with trying to figure out how best to do something. And even as I reflected back this morning on my life and some of the tasks and things I was a part of in developing things in just different places and work or whatever that may be, I always found myself, or usually found myself, in a place where I realize what needs to get done, and then so I start working through it, and I start to create a plan, and oftentimes I get into it, and I might get 5 or 6 steps into that plan, and it's going really well, and then I get to this next step, and I kind of get caught, and I kind of scratch my head trying to figure out, okay, so now what do I do? What's the next step look like for this? And there's kind of this pause in there, and sometimes after a little bit of a pause, I get an idea and figure out what that next step looks like and how to kind of wrap things up or how to close it off. But often as well, there's times when I get to that step and I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do. I haven't figured out how do I close this thing? What does it mean to wrap this up, to finish this project, to sometimes even in sermons and finding out what's the closure of that. And I don't know where to go with it. And then I start to scratch my head if it's long enough, and I wonder, was this the wrong project to be working on? Was this the wrong focus? Was I aiming at the wrong thing? Or what's the deal here? And oftentimes I kind of vacillate in different ways of how I look at that and the questions that I ask myself, and then even the questions that I begin to ask God and trying to determine, was I off on this? What's the next step? Everything seems to be working. And so there's sometimes when God's waiting to show something, and then there's times whenever I just feel like he's just sitting next to me in the chair, shaking his head and nodding and affirming the steps that I've been taking and encouraging me to say, yeah, that's great. You're good job. That's the next thing. Good. Well done. And then we get to this last part and I'm like, okay, so what do we do now? How do we finish this thing? And he's kind of like, I don't know. How do you finish your thing? Because it wasn't my thing. It was yours. And so I don't know where you want to go with that, but you've been doing good so far. So go for it. But it's not necessarily the thing that I wanted to do. It's not really the good that I was looking for. And I was reminded even this morning as I thought about this, and in doing these devotions, we've talked that we basically read these texts and we ask God, what are you sharing with us? And as a pastor, as someone who's done some public speaking, you want to be able to wrap it up. I want to be able to have this takeaway. And God seemed to say to me this morning, sometimes there's no nice bow that you wrap around things. It doesn't just it's going to be abrupt. It's going to end, because the intent isn't that you just wrap up the good that I have for you with a little bow and then put it on your shelf. I want you to ponder this the rest of the day. And so as I've thought back over my week and asked those questions about the things that I've been involved in and engaged in, I've been reminded of that. And I've got a prayer that I want to read right before we end. But that verse 2 that says, you are my Lord, and I have no good apart from you. And the reminder that the good that I have and the good that I do isn't because I've come up with something good. It's because the God who is good has given it to me and has given it to you. And nothing that I do originates in me. It originates in him. And so whenever I ponder the things that I'm doing, I'm finding that he's inviting me to ask that question of, where is it coming from? Are you trying to develop this, or is this good that's just something that you think is good? But so you know that which is lasting, that's good, is going to come from me. And I ran across this prayer that I just want to share with you as we kind of wrap up. It's from a Jesuit prayer book that I am in pretty regularly. And it's called Prayer for the Light and Help. And it says this. It says, Jesus, I feel within me a great desire to please you, but at the same time, I feel totally incapable of doing this without your special light and help, which I can expect only from you. Accomplish your will within me, even in spite of me. And I just think he articulates it so well that so much at times I have this desire to please God, and somehow I feel like I'm the one that has to generate it. When the Father's just saying, I've got it for you. Just join me. Join me in what I'm doing. The good that you're going to do is going to come from me anyway, so take time to be with me. So as I've reflected this morning on the good that I'm not a priest in the Old Testament times, that I don't have to diagnose leprosy, and I don't have to slaughter animals, but also the good in knowing that my Lord has my good, and the good that I have for today is in his hands. And I can wake each day knowing that there's an invitation there to be a part of that good. And I'm so grateful for that. I hope you have an awesome day. As we close, would you join me as we pray the Aaronic blessing over each other? The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face towards you and give you his peace. May it be so. Have an awesome day. We look forward to seeing you soon.